to Artists on Artists on Artists on Artists. This week, we get real with some of the most famous contestants of Netflix reality shows.
Netflix is home to a wide array of very interesting, very exciting, very compelling, and very real reality shows. And they are very well known for putting those reality guests, those reality contestants, together in other shows. It's an endless thing, and it's something they're doing. So we got 4 of the cast members together from one of their newest ones.
So buckle up and listen to something that Netflix is doing.
Let's listen in.
Okay, guys, I'm so excited to be a part of the official Netflix is Doing Something cast. Can we get a round of applause?
Yeah.
This is awesome. Yeah, this is so awesome.
Yeah. This is freaking cool.
This is so awesome. I'm really excited to be here. Like, this is so awesome.
Do we want to go around? Well, okay, we can get into what Netflix is Doing Something is. But basically, okay, so it's like a house, and it's a bunch of people from the Netflix reality show cinematic universe, and we're all together, and we're supposed to find, I believe, the person we're most suited to date. But I could be wrong about that.
It's the most suited to date and the most suited to hate, I think, is the idea.
But then at the end, like, there was that other part where we had to disclose whether we were there for love or for money. And so we have to find who we were matched with, and then we have to hope that they were also there for love or money. So we have a match, but then we also have an objective.
Yeah.
And I think the hate person is, it's a multiplier. I think that if the hate person matches with your hate, then you get
if the hate
2 or 3 times the money.
Yeah, and if it's a woman, it's double. And if it's a man,
so it's
half.
So if you're a man who hates a woman, it's double the 2 times.
That's
Wait,
the rule.
I didn't know there was hate involved. I thought we were just doing love or money. There's a hate one too?
No, so that's how you get kicked out. If you came there for hate, but if you fall in love by accident, then you get kicked off.
Yeah.
But if you came there for love and you end up hating, then you can join the people who are there for money and get in on the pot. It's just you only get a 10th.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It's like we haven't even we'll tell the listeners, we haven't even gotten into the currency part, which is hot dollars, which is depending on how hot America votes you are, you get
spending money at the resort that we're at,
and they're
but you are penalized
nickels.
if you have sex. Like if you have sex, then they take away some of your nickels, and it's depending on how hot you are. Like if you're ugly and you have some sex, they don't take away as many nickels because your stock is not as high.
But I did read that there's one section. I guess there's one part. It's a secret zone that if you kiss in the zone, you get a dime.
And I don't know what you read about that because it is a thing.
Because it happened to us.
It was in my contract.
No, and the dime, America can call in and put their face on the dime.
Yeah, you
but
can
you
be
have to
on the
act
dime.
fast. You have to act fast. America had to act so fast because you would drop all the episodes at once, in batches of 3. So it's you got to call right away.
Right, and then we just green screen your face and the behind the scenes, the dimes are actually these little green things. I thought they were Skittles. It's so funny. And
the Skittles are actually a multiplier. I think if you find the Skittles, they're a multiplier for
that
the
ups
dime or the nickel.
your hot points.
Right.
That ups them.
Right.
But all the money goes to Make-A-Wish Foundation at the end.
And that's awesome.
All the hot dollars. The money goes to us, but the hot dollars raised go to charity.
Foundation.
And it doesn't convert for them. They don't get to you don't get to bring it to a currency exchange and get USD.
That would be crazy if you did that.
And
you
also
get a souvenir from the show before you die.
Yeah, and also to be super super crystal clear, these are the rules we start with, right? And then some of them change. As the show goes.
And also, just so if you didn't catch up, we are all people that have been on Netflix reality shows before this.
Yeah.
Did you catch that?
So I don't know if you caught that, but this is kind of
this is our newer
Road Rules, the Gauntlet Challenge.
It's
style.
it's like the Avengers.
Yeah, Avengers.
I love Avengers.
Oh, did you guys see the last Avengers movie?
I saw Avengers. I loved it. I
so
love the
good.
adventures. I think they're so funny.
Okay, now we should go around and introduce our name and then also our island name. Our
Right.
which
Right.
is
I
our
forgot
hot
about
island
there was a
name.
whole section where if you guessed someone's real name,
Yeah.
then you
got
would get
extra-
a multiplier.
Yeah. And that's like the name on your bank account for your hot dollars.
Oh
Yeah.
my god. You should see these behind the scenes meetings. I would say most of our schedule of our day was like 3 hours of filming and then 4 or 5 hours explaining the multipliers.
And we were all just so confused.
I never
I had
understood
to like
the multipliers.
study.
Study.
I don't know if you guys felt this way, but a lot of times, like when they would bring me in to do my confessional, they would ask me how I felt about a certain multiplier, and then I'd come in like, oh no, I hated that. I think that's wrong. I think that's fucked up. And then they'd say, no, that's the wrong answer because you fundamentally don't understand how this multiplier works. And they had to correct me, so I had to recalibrate my emotions on how I felt about it.
It was wild.
It's crazy.
I felt like people were coming and going and getting and leaving and losing all day, every day, and I could not figure it out.
Coming and going and getting and losing always.
Dude, like for real, like truly the most rules. And this is like 100% real. I asked my manager to like send me like a hard copy of all the rules. He broke his printer trying to print it. He's not crazy.
You need to find a new manager.
Was it?
I think it was like 89. It was 89 pages both ways.
Oh my god,
just
I thought you said
rules?
69.
It broke my manager's printer.
Wait,
dude.
did you actually say 69?
Did you say
No.
69 or 89?
No, I said 89.
All right, let's go around.
There was a little 69 on the island.
There was a number.
And it cost me a lot of money.
Yeah.
Oh, we should definitely introduce ourselves.
Yeah, we should.
My name is Condor. I am from my mom is from Alabama and my dad is from Long Beach, so I kind of go in and out of southern and a more coastal accent. Just kind of goes in and out.
That's such a label. It's such a stereotype.
Yeah, I'm 23. I'm an architect, and I also you might know me as one of the finalists from the Netflix reality show Distance Makes the Heart. It was a reality show where we were supposed to find.
Distance makes the heart what?
Oh, that's just the end. And the idea, distance makes the heart. And
but what does it make the heart?
well, so the normal phrase is grow fonder, right? But like the question is like, and it's distance makes the heart ? Distance makes the heart. And so what it was we had to meet potential people we wanted to get married to, but we had to meet them at half a mile away. So so we would see each other from half a mile away down a big street in Manchester, England, and we'd look at them and we'd talk to them on a phone. And then we had to decide at the end if we wanted to get close to them. And we would meet in the middle.
You decide if you want to get close.
Every episode you get a little closer, right?
You get a little bit
You can
closer.
decide to go closer or give up.
You get a little bit closer. My first joke to the girl that I ended up with was, am I about to marry an ant? Because she was so far away.
I remember that was so funny. It seems like the winners of that show, like, you would really succeed at that show depending on your lung capacity, because those first few episodes, like, you guys were like screaming across each other to see if you were compatible.
They don't give you a phone until episode 4. Yeah, we were screaming at each other.
But the internet loves you, my guy.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I've seen the memes. The memes. Yeah.
The memes are so funny of you.
Yeah, they're really funny. I don't kind of understand a lot of them.
It was just how you walked. It was just so funny how you would walk closer.
Right.
I saw the funniest one that was like me when Ross is having a sale. And then it was like someone walking as Condor. Like, just like so funny.
Walking a little closer.
I saw that, but it was Talbot's.
Oh.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I saw that, but it was Target.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm really happy about. My manager told me the memes are going good and
they're so good. That's 3 different ones.
Yeah, the memes are going good, and I'm happy about it. I guess I've gotten picked up in the nursing community too, and that's always a good community to be part of.
That's literally that's like the spot.
Yeah.
So
in the nursing community, the memes. Yeah.
Yeah, the memes in the nursing community. It's just like me when someone is flatlining, stuff like that.
And it's just you walking closer.
Because everyone knows the shot they took of was me when I started running because I was so in love with her. And it was like, and I started running, and everyone was like, "Oh, you're not supposed to be running. You're not supposed to be running." So I had to kind of
only move
myself.
20 feet. You could only move 20 feet fast.
It was fun though, but it is sad. Like I am sad that it didn't work out with me and Serenity.
How long were you guys together again?
We were together for 6 months, and it was like beautiful.
Wow.
It was really, really beautiful. And then she got a job in Ohio. And so
wow,
and I didn't want to do long distance.
That's too far. I'd
already done it.
Yeah, that's way farther than just a half a mile.
But y'all, I'm freaking gapping over here like I'm a freaking Chuck E. Cheese character. Like, what are you all up to? Like, tell us who you are.
Well, yeah. My name is I'm sure you guys know this, but like my name is Grayson Height, and I was on a show called Love is Postpartum. 12 single, ready to mingle dudes see if they can fall in love with 12 women who are struggling from depression of just having a child.
Oh my God.
But we didn't know.
Right, Netflix doesn't tell you a lot of that. There's no way you could have known.
So like half the time the women would just disappear, and we were like, what's going on? It turns out they were taking care of their new babies. So it was wild experience, but it was so fun and so crazy.
That explains why so much of the show was just dudes hanging out in the dude room. Like
the
you
dude
guys
room
were
was
playing
lit
a lot
though.
Of pickleball.
The dude room was lit. They had pickleball, they had pool, they had a pool. They had so much, like a jacuzzi and video games. It was so fun.
I saw your show because you guys went viral a little bit with that challenge, that breastfeeding challenge.
Yeah, it was weird because we didn't understand it. But yeah, they wanted to see if we could breastfeed a puppy.
That's exactly what I was referring to, yeah.
Yeah, so we got in a little trouble on that one.
Just going back to the dude room, I think some of my favorite moments of that show were when the producers trying to drag you guys out of the dude room. It was like taking a cat to the vet. Like it was like you guys were clawing at the door like, don't let me leave.
We didn't want to leave the dude room sometimes. It was just good vibes in there. And like, to be honest, meeting with the women sometimes was really, really waning. It was tough.
Yeah.
The dude room was just chiller,
No, it really just showed the difference between like how hard their lives are and how easy your guys's were, and like how.
Yeah.
Well, both of ours were hard, It was both, but
that's what was amazing.
Yeah,
is
but
that
the postpartum room looked really, really, really hard.
bad.
It looked none of them could sleep because everyone else's babies were on like a different sleep schedule.
And
so
why
it
was
just,
it
like,
only
constant screaming?
Why was it only lit by candlelight?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I feel like when I watched the show, that's when the dichotomy really hit. Right. The difference between the two rooms. But when you're in it, the dude room did have some problems in there too. Like when Kyler and Jeff got into that verbal argument about who was better at Super Smash Bros. That was intense, and it kind of divided the dude room for a little bit.
I resonated with that. And when Chester broke the pinball machine, I felt like I was there.
Oh my God! And then
it wasn't his fault, but we needed somebody to blame.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, Chester got like such a villain edit. Like I walked away from that. Like if I hadn't talked to you about this, like I'll be honest, I walked away from that hating Chester.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to murder him.
I hated that. And then right when the pinball machine broke, they like smash cut to Marissa eating her placenta because she was in extreme pain.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh
and Marissa
my God.
also got such a bad edit. Marissa
got
and her
such a bad
baby
edit.
Jonathan.
Because they didn't even. I've talked to Marissa. Like they didn't even talk about her paintings at all.
No, they didn't. And she's a fantastic painter. All they talked about is how sick of her baby she is.
Yeah. It was so crazy. It's another thing about all the candles in that room. I thought they were a little close to the babies, but I don't know. I've never had a baby.
I also
love the
don't
same
think you're supposed to
thing.
have candles around babies, too.
No, I don't think so either. It felt like it was like the Pirates of the Caribbean style. Like it was really dark in there. And then you guys were like in like an arcade. It was
we had
weird.
like that TikTok neon lighting. Yeah, it was pretty great.
Well, how far away were y'all's rooms? Like y'all's like hanging areas?
Like 20 feet. But we were blasting music, so we never heard the babies. We had like freaking Fetty Wap going. We had Kendrick Lamar going. It was such a good time.
Wow.
So yeah. So, and honestly, the coolest part was like the women now, because they weren't pregnant anymore, they could drink, and we just all partied really hard. So that was really cool.
Wow.
That was the coolest part.
That's it.
I've been gabbing so much.
Okay. I'm Chelsea. And I was on the Netflix dating show Married at First Sight in 45 Seconds. So it was an ultra speed dating show where, as you know, it was 16 men, 16 women, and you had to go on these dates, and the dates would get progressively longer as your relationship progress. So like we would start out with 5-second dates, and then if you made a connection with someone, you would move on to 15-second dates, and then you would move on to 30-second dates, and then if you were like really serious about someone, you got to move on to the 45-second date stage. And a lot of people didn't make it to that stage because they didn't have like interesting storylines. So at that point, they were like 8 of them were just mysteriously slashed. Like they were just mysteriously gone from the show.
And that was crazy because that happens like the first 2 minutes of the show, and you're kind of confused. Like watching it, I was like, "Dang!" Like, how long was the official runtime of your show? Like, how many episodes and how long were each episode?
Well, I mean, like the actual dating portion lasted, I want to say, 3 minutes out of 50. So the rest of it was just like, you know, it was like a lot of confessionals, with a lot of us talking about how the dates made us feel. And like, we didn't have a ton of information to go off of, so we kind of had to fill in a lot of blanks. Like, my first date with Tyler, like, it was a 5-second date, and I basically had to go, sewing Florida from I want to have a baby. And then he said, baseball, basketball, I want to have a baby. And so,
but it was so gorgeous.
It was like
magic. We could see the magic that was there.
It was gorgeous.
When you both were screaming at each other, I want to have a baby super quick. I was like, they're meant for each other.
It was gorgeous, dude.
I had chills.
And I had heard this. Was this a thing that is real? Like, this show was shot originally because you guys had been sold to a company that makes TV shows for the back of taxi cabs, the screens on taxis, and then Netflix picks it up. So it was really short, and then you guys had to fill it.
Yeah, well, it did really well in the taxis. Like, it
How do you
got
know that?
super high ratings.
How do they know?
Well,
That's
I
easy
don't
to
know
people watch
all
it?
the ins and outs, but like they survey Uber drivers and like taxi cabs like at the end of every month. It's
I bet
called
they love
yeah.
that.
And then they ask like, how much did you like this show?
So
your
the taxi
customers
drivers,
like the show?
they interviewed a bunch of taxi drivers to see if that's insane. That's
And it's
great.
interesting because they never actually see the show because it's obviously behind them.
Right.
So
Yeah.
they
They
have to
hear
find
it.
like
Oh, boy, do they hear it.
They love it. And they had to find subtle ways to like ask the customers in the back, like, and they had to go like,
That's not fair to
interesting show, right? And then depending on the level of their response, like they would take that information, give it to the execs. Like they would get a little kickback if they were honest.
That I heard that's how a lot of Netflix shows actually get picked up, is that same system.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they don't even have to go through the taxi
wild
trial
system.
first. Like they just interview Uber drivers because they're people of the people, you know?
Yeah.
Like
They're the people, yeah.
they're
I
people
heard
of the people.
I heard that's the origin of Firefly Lane.
Yeah, Firefly Lane got picked up in the back of a taxi.
One of my fave shows.
Oh my god. Oh, I was also gonna say you're so good at this show. Like, it was so impressive. Like, you talk so naturally fast that I think you were perfect casting for this show. Yeah. And also, like, it was so crazy because they did it like high school theater style, where they would you guys had the preliminaries, and then they put who everyone would have dates with up on a board on a piece of paper. And I remember seeing that you got picked to go on dates with every guy because you were so good at the 5-second.
Yeah, they were just like impressed, and like a lot of I don't tell Netflix this obviously, but like a lot of this is like love. It's real love, and like I am falling in love, and I fall in love fast and hard. But like a lot of people, like, you also have to play the game. Like, and so I'm sure a lot of people were not exactly falling in love with me. They were falling in love with my ability to talk really fast and obviously get in the edit. Like, there was not a moment where I thought that I was going to be cut out of this show. I knew.
Wow.
Yeah. Cause it felt like parts of the show felt like I was watching a college speech and debate tournament. Like the way that you guys were talking and the tone and how loud and quick, I was completely overwhelmed, but they did such a good job of every word, breaking every word down in the testimonial and spending like 10, 20 minutes on basically one line of dialogue and breaking it down from everybody. It was crazy.
Because there's a huge difference between someone saying, I want to get married, and someone saying, I want to get married someday, right?
Yeah.
That's huge.
And it shows the, like, weight of your words.
Yeah.
And the weight of your mouth, like the weight of your actual mouth, like how
The
much
weight
it
of your
weighs
words,
can
weight
slow
of your
you
mouth.
down.
Yeah, you
I'm
definitely
so-
have to train your mouth.
I'm so jealous you had confidence in your edit. They cut so much out of my edit. There's all these moments where, like, I was walking from the house to the car and walking from the car to the, and you never see me do that.
Yeah, I felt like your edit, it was just, your show is hard. There's a lot of physicality stuff.
Yeah, and they just had the jibs were so crazy. They just
many jib shots. So many jib shots.
We
Anyway.
gotta hear
Well,
from
that's
you,
my
my
show.
friend.
That's my show.
I'm gabbing so much.
I'm
We're
gabbing.
guys.
I'm
We're
gabbing.
And that's
so
what we're
much.
supposed to do.
gabbing.
That's what we get paid to do. Hi, guys. Last but certainly not least, I am Kylie.
You can be Kylie. That's fine.
No, I'm Kylie.
Right.
You're like more Kylie than Kylie.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That makes sense. Sorry. I just like, no, that's fine.
I'm
No, you're Kylie-er.
I'm Kylie.
That's what you said on the show. I just got you mixed up with another girl who was Kylie.
No, I get it, and it's insane. And they did a villain arc between me, Kylie, and Kylie, and I was like, guys, be a little more creative than that.
Mm-hmm.
I am 24. I was on the show White House versus restaurant versus hospital dating. Where they took someone from each and we had to date from either people who worked in the White House, a restaurant, or a hospital. And I work in a hospital, so I was dating people who worked at restaurants or at the White House.
This show really opened my eyes because I had no idea there was a rivalry between you guys. Like, that there was such three-way animosity.
Deep blood, yeah.
Or there's just serious stereotypes at play, and dating each other with like just dating each other and being like, okay, I never thought in a million years I would date somebody who works at a restaurant, and just like lifting that veil.
Yeah.
It was so
Lifting that
crazy.
veil.
Like when you walked in and you were all wearing your typical clothing for what you do, like when you were wearing your scrubs, and then
I was wearing my scrubs.
people from the restaurant were wearing their like kind of button down server outfits, and then people from the White House were wearing their suits, and then all of a sudden makeover and you come out and you're all wearing plastic. Like that was
No,
like,
it was
so
crazy because Nick Lachey goes drop the uniform.
Yeah, that was insane when he said that, and you guys
And how did
ended
they
up
do
in
that?
That was
plastic.
such a twist because you guys were so shocked. You didn't think
Right.
you'd have to take off the uniform.
Because
And
I
you were
thought
all-
I
and
thought
you
I
were all
would be
naked
dating
when it
people.
dropped. You were all naked.
Yeah, and we were shocked. More
It's crazy they didn't capture that in the title, that the whole time you guys are going to be naked, but...
And
Yeah.
also, it clearly, like, did they tell you that your clothes were going to fall off like that? Because it seemed like they just brought out these huge magnets and all your clothes fell off like a cartoon.
Yeah. So the shock that I know everyone thinks the shock you see on screen is all of us being like, oh my God, we're going to date someone who works in the White House. But the shock we're actually experiencing is, oh my God, how'd they take our clothes off?
Yeah.
with magnets. Because, like, that's what I never got, is magnets don't take clothes off.
Well,
but they did. This was a cloth magnet.
I'm really
a cloth magnet.
But I'm really curious because I think it might have been a real magnet that they snuck metal into your clothes, because there was that one, I think it was a White House person. They don't mention it because she disappears, but Terry Jo, you see in a quick shot, I think they couldn't edit around it, she starts flying up and then they cut it and you never see her again. So I was wondering I was just curious if Terry Jo got sucked into the magnet.
Because maybe she had like a hip replacement or something. Like,
that's kind of what I was thinking about.
So Terry Joe. We're not supposed to talk about this, but obviously we're displaying Netflix secrets here. Terry Joe had an ankle surgery in high school that had a little bit of metal in her ankle, so she flew up.
By the ankle, dang.
By the ankle.
That hurts.
That really hurts.
Like freaking Achilles or something.
Can I just say, I thought you were the most open-minded person on this show.
For sure.
Absolutely.
I know maybe the edit didn't always go that way, but like I knew in my heart that I'm like, oh, she could stoop to dating a doctor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. I mean, like, it was, because my whole thing is that, like, I got really caught up in, like, in the jobs. Like, every date I ran on with a waiter, I told him what I wanted to eat. And that was so blind of me. Like, right? Like so rude of me. And then, like, every guy who was dating me wanted me to, like, pump his blood or whatever. Or, like, measure the size of his dick or something. And I was like,
As they do at the hospital.
They do that. They do that to us hot women nurses.
Well, that's,
and
like,
it's
part of
up.
the physical, right? Like, you get weighed, and then you get your height, and then you get your dick measured.
Yeah, that's the physical,
And then women, they do it, and they go, no dick. And that's the measurement, right?
Yeah, no dick. Yeah.
And they say it like, no dice.
No way. They don't measure anything down there for y'all?
No, they do measure it, but they say no dick.
No, they take it out. Like, if they're a good nurse, they'll take it out and they'll be like, no dick.
Yeah, that's what they do, the whole charade where they like bring out the measuring tape because like, you never know. And then so it's like,
if it's a good nurse, yeah,
if it's a good nurse, and then
if
they go,
she's
no dick.
Yeah, if she's winging it, she'll probably just skip that, and that's not a good nurse.
No. You were just so real though, and you could tell how genuine and how you were there to meet somebody, and that's what I really respected and loved, and I think that's why America fell in love with you.
I appreciate it.
Netflix fell in love with you. It's because like you're also blunt. Like you will be honest, and you were really honest with some of those White House people.
Yeah, I mean, and that's why Bruce and I are engaged. He's a White House press aide, and we're engaged. And it's really hard to like find time between me working at a hospital and him working at the White House. But we've really figured it out. And
that's great. That's so great.
That's awesome. That's like so great to hear.
Yeah.
Well, I think we should probably talk about our experience on the show.
Let's
together because we're all talked about our separate. This reminds me of all the movies that led up to the Avengers because it's like we all got the origin stories and now we get to see it all come together.
I just put together what the Avengers was.
You just realized? Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you guys were talking about like a book that I didn't know about, but like no, I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with the Avengers.
Like it has Iron Man and like
Hulk.
Like Hulk and like all the people.
Tony Starkey.
Yeah.
The Scarlet Bitch. I love it
Deadpool?
all.
Dude.
Deadpool is, I think, an Avenger too.
It's Headpool.
Deadpool. No,
Deadpool.
Deadpool and they're Avengers. Yeah.
There's Deadpool 1 and Deadpool 2.
I think Deadpool is Deadpool's brother.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen Call Me By Your Name? Is that part of it?
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I think it is.
Is it? Is that the one with Tony Starkey?
Do you guys talk to gay people?
I try.
Yeah.
I try. Yeah. I try.
So let's talk about the show.
Well, there was actually our show.
Our show.
No.
Yeah, and I want to also be clear. I said that Bruce and I are engaged, but that's like, here's the
you
thing:
guys
is
are
like
open.
But also like this is like a part of our press deal. We're like telling people to watch our show, and I reveal in episode 1 of our show that Bruce and I are opened, and I don't consent to it being opened.
But you're on the show, which I think is awesome.
And he's not.
And that's great.
This
but
kind
also
of
like
similar thing happened to me with Netflix because like they really wanted me to like stay with Tyler because Married at First Sight in 45 Seconds had just dropped, and so like they wanted me and Tyler out there, but then they realized they were putting this show together. Netflix is doing something, and then they wanted me to flip and they want us to
because
break
that's
up, like,
such good.
immediately.
Yeah, and like Bruce and I like naturally just happened that way. But I mean, of course, Netflix called both of us and they were like, it would really work out for the drop of Netflix is doing something if you guys were to have some drama.
Yeah.
That was exactly like me. They said like we love that you're with Jessica, but you need some drama with her kid Tiger. Like we need to see like there's some sort of.
But that got like so legal.
Yeah, it got really legal because we had to marry, and then it was
super litigious.
Well, there was a second there that I actually was gonna take Tiger.
Oh, like they were gonna give you custody?
Yeah, they were gonna give me custody of
Super
Tiger.
litigious.
And because I kind of love Tiger, and I thought Netflix was pushing for it, and I thought it would be best if Tiger came with me, and I had, so they were gonna give me custody for a little bit.
Right.
Well, I mean, if they saw like how good and cool you were in the dude room, like they'd probably I mean, all the dudes came out looking like great dads in that.
Mm-hmm. I really liked getting to know your lawyers though when they started introducing them as full characters on your show.
That was really fun.
Yeah,
that was really fun.
Awesome.
But our show, Netflix is doing something, is dropping at the end of the month.
Absolutely.
We're really excited.
So let's talk about it. Yeah, because, it was really fun. It was us. There was a couple cast members from Which Thing is Soup, which is like one of my favorite other shows on Netflix.
So funny.
And those guys are cool.
And it's actually much easier than Is It Cake? Which Thing is Soup? You can kind of tell immediately.
Well, because there's the whole sex part of it.
And then they got into some technicalities where it's like, oh, technically water's a soup. And it's like,
right.
Shut up.
I was like, we don't need to hear about that.
Yeah.
Like, all right, we
just
get it.
Find love and go home.
Right. It's like, we get it, host of Is It Soup, like Chris Redd. Like, we don't need to hear about that. But like, my thing is like, that I think it actually got a little harder than Is It Cake because sometimes they would bring out pots and the pots were opaque, like they were metal pots, so they'd be like, which one of these things has soup in it? And then one of them would have like a rabbit in it and the other one would have soup, and it's like, well, I'm not supposed to know that. That's like a blind guess.
You can't see it. That's just guessing.
Then we also had Kelly from Love is Freezing, where you had to be like in that walk-in freezer, and whoever got the coldest like wasn't there for the right reasons. And she came in like, I'll be honest, like she seemed a little traumatized when she came onto the island.
I thought so too. And who was also traumatized was Paul. Paul is from Love Is I Don't Want to Go on a Dating Show, which is a bunch of people who don't want to go on dating shows going on dating shows. And that was like, and for Paul to like stay the course and now is on a second dating show is like really admirable to me.
Well, and then of course, like one of my favorite people we got to meet was Scooter from Lefties Looking for Love. Like people with people who are left-handed, who it's a little harder for them to date. Like that was like really beautiful, and like I learned a lot from Scooter, especially like we play catch a lot, and it was just so he's so brave the way he plays catch with his other hand that isn't the hand that I use, and
I cried during his scene with left-handed Noni, the matchmaker, and where he was like really insecure, and she was making him meatballs and said everything's gonna be okay, and
that was so sweet.
And like he was crying so much. I just love Scooter so much. I could scoop him up.
I wouldn't touch his left hand though. That's kind of gross.
No, I think that's vile.
I think it's vile that he does everything with that hand. Okay, but I'll say, but I think we're allowed to announce, like, our reunion is, we're doing a live reunion. Netflix is having us do a live reunion.
And it's going to work.
And we're doing
this one's gonna work
at the Super Bowl. We're doing
it
at the Super Bowl at the same time.
We are the Super Bowl halftime show is our reunion show.
Absolutely. But you're still going to get a star. You're still going to get your favorite, Super Bowl halftime performance. We're just in the middle of Melissa Etheridge's set.
They take a break and we do a quick reunion.
She's going to sing Come to My Window, and then she sits down, and then we come out. We do about 40 to 50, and then we head out, and then they do the rest of her songs.
Well, can we talk about like some of our favorite moments from this last season, like that we're legally allowed to talk about right now?
I mean,
like the luau night. Oh
my god! And let's talk about the location. They sent us to Winter Park, Florida. Absolutely gorgeous.
And had a luau night.
To have a luau in Florida was one of the best nights of my life.
Yeah,
it was awesome.
It was so cool.
It was
awesome.
one of the best nights of my life. There was also so much drama.
Yes.
And I think
Oh my gosh.
I think we're all past it now because, like, obviously we were all here for love, except for the people who originally came for money and then were then given an assignment halfway through that was that you were there for love. But then one of us got the hate card and then, and that kind of switched the whole thing around.
Yeah.
We did talk about the hate card too, because it turned people into. There was a secret hater in the group, and that was like really hard to. Yeah, that was hard.
Felt like I was playing Mafia because I was like so like this.
There's like an episode where we're just playing Mafia.
Yeah, we're sitting around the pool, our eyes are closed, people are tapping us on each other's shoulders. That was weird. But I'm used to not seeing people, and that was hard for me too. Like having romantic conversations so close to everybody, it's something I haven't been used to in a long time.
You were constantly trying to step as far back as possible from where it was going.
I kept walking into the ocean.
It's just crazy.
I didn't know how to talk to you guys without knowing where you worked.
Yeah, that was, and it's crazy how much trauma and impact our shows gave us, you know?
It is crazy.
Yeah.
But I think we can, like, I don't know, should we just spoil it? Episode 2, we use hot dollars, and then we start a secret drug ring.
Right. Well, I was not involved in that. I was a little removed from that.
But
because you were just farther away.
Yes. I was literally removed because y'all started talking.
I think they edited that so weird. Like, they really made it look like I was the ringleader, but it's just because I was in charge when they didn't say that we were filming. Like,
but
and I don't
you
think
could
that's
tell.
fair.
You could tell you're doing whippets before your confessionals, and you could tell that we're paying for them because it cuts out.
Yeah.
And then suddenly we're just like off the walls.
But I do think, like, I wonder if that was planted by the producers. Like, you guys didn't find that crank, just on your own. Nobody brought it. And so I was wondering too, like, maybe that was planted so that, Grayson's lawyers could come back. Cause I was so excited when they came back in.
Yeah, because
and it did feel like
now that I think about it, the way that I got all the drugs was that someone came up to me in a dark alley.
Yeah.
Someone came up to me in a dark alley.
Wearing a sideways hat.
Hat and like a sheath over their face. And they said, do you want to make a lot of money really, really fast? And I said, yeah. Well, what kind of question is that? Absolutely.
They played into your thing.
Yeah, because they said fast, and that's one of my branding keywords, and so that activates me. And so I'll do kind of whatever anyone says at that point. It's like Pavlov's dog.
Yeah.
That's
It's crazy too, but not a lot of people know how many dark alleys there are in resorts in Florida. Like,
they found you in
during
one.
a luau,
I think Netflix built those in.
You think
like,
they
now
did?
that I'm thinking about it, like, those alleys were
like
like
it.
artificially dark. Like, they
Wait,
didn't make
there's
any
no
sense.
way they did that.
Well,
That's
also
crazy.
A crazy thing we forgot to talk about is the place that we're in is kind of built like that hotel that old serial killer used to kill his people in. Like, there's tons of trap doors and tons of things, and now I'm realizing maybe that Netflix built it, and that's why people just kept disappearing.
Are you talking about H.H. Holmes from the World's Fair?
I'm talking about H.H. Holmes from the World's Fair in 1880s.
Well, I think they have that
My
show
lawyer
coming
said.
out.
Okay.
Oh, they have that
show's
show?
coming out.
Yeah.
I think that is. It's like it's love. Love is a house full of tricks.
Holmes is where the heart is.
Love is a house full of tricks.
Well,
Love is a house full
it's
of
crazy.
tricks.
From what I heard, they saw the Eric Larson book about him, Devil in the White City, and they said that sounds like.
I love
like
Devil in the White
show.
City.
It sounds like a dating show, so we're just gonna take the title. And then they were like, well, you gotta take the
It's
story.
crazy that they actually got serial killers to join, psychopaths and serial killers to join and try to find love and not kill their people.
Yeah, I'm glad we're doing this show before that comes out.
Yeah, me too.
Because that, like, to be honest, that might be the end of all of this. So we gotta grab our cash while we can.
Do you
also,
think
wait,
it'll ever end?
Oh my god, I don't know.
Because what people don't know as you're listening to this is that these Netflix reality people, they're unlike anybody else. And they've been working in this, like, they've been doing these shows for a really long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll live together too.
They all live together. It's kind of a nightmare if you ever need to go meet them.
It's
out
sort of
the
like
show.
they would make a really great show. That's the ironic part, is that it's like 12 execs, one house, none of them are allowed to leave until they pump out 6 more shows.
Well, like I've tried to film them, and they all have these little mirrors that if you try to film them, they shine light reflections.
It goes right back at
you. It ruins the shot. It ruins the shot. They also wear all that reflective clothing.
And they have
you tried to film
paparazzi shows.
I tried to film
them. Were you making your own documentary?
No, I was making a surfing video, and I was wearing it on my head, a GoPro, and I was coming close to the ocean. I was coming close to the shore, and I saw all these lights, and I saw them standing there, and they were trying to fuck with the GoPro, and I crashed. And it was just fine. That's part of surfing. I wasn't hurt, but it was...
Well, I will say I did love that arc in our show. Like, you just found surfing and filming surfing.
I was really grateful.
Oh, that's where you went.
Well, I was I'm out in the ocean. I'm so far away from everybody. Might as well pick something up while I'm here. And it turned out I was really good at surfing right away.
That was beautiful.
It was awesome.
Amazing.
And I'm getting a new show. It's called Surf's Up. Surf's Up.
That's
with Ryan.
incredible. That's incredible.
Yeah. So
What
I'm excited
happens
about
in
that.
it?
So I go surfing, and then they tell me there's women in the water, and if I can find them, then I could marry them. And so it's I don't want to spoil it, but I think they lied.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I couldn't find a woman.
I loved the promo with the lifeguard going, "There's women in the water."
Yeah, blowing and clearing the beach going, "There's women in the water."
Yeah, and then all these people are screaming and running out, and then I come in, zoom in on me, and I say, "Surf's Up."
Yeah.
And then they go out there.
It's
and then
weird that half the show is stylistic shots of shadows of sirens singing, like
Also,
kind of in an alluring sense.
Yeah, absolutely. It's getting mythical. It's very mythical.
I also heard you guys shot that show during a storm. And
we did.
Unfortunately, they won't announce how many women were lost.
Well, I'll never know because I didn't
Well, they
find
keep
them.
we're all saying announce the women who were lost. Announce the women.
Announce the women, because as
Who
far
were
as I
lost.
know, they're not real. Wait, can you guys remind me? Did any of us date on this show that we were on?
Yeah, kind of.
'Cause things were moving
think
so
I
fast.
did. I think I did, but I can't tell. So there was one night where I won a Jubilee card, and I gave it to Natasha, and she said, "Oh, I have to skip this." She used a skip card, so then it went to Kareem. So it ended up and Kareem sitting down at a Jubilee ball, and we were just kind of talking about basketball. So I don't know if we dated there, but at the end we got hot dollars, and we also got hot dogs, and I got a couple gems. Which were made of plastic, but they were called them something like sweet gems, and I never learned what to do with those.
Were any of you guys on?
I think they dropped the gems. Like I think they dropped the gem
sweet
thing.
gems.
Because
Kareem got more gems than me.
Yeah,
Sorry, go
they
ahead.
didn't know where they were going with the gems.
I only started fucking people when I did the
You were fucking people.
Yeah, so I only started fucking people when I did the Southwest flight brought to you by Southwest, and it was like an excursion that people with like $50 hot dollars went on.
Yeah,
you just
fly
went on a
around
flight.
the airport. You'd fly around Fort Lauderdale Airport.
That's when I started fucking people.
And so you guys all
I
fucked
was
in
just
that
so
plane.
frustrated. I was just so frustrated. I was like, why am I on this plane?
Well, because I remember, I think I was given a date card, and then so I got to pick who I was dating, and so I picked Jonathan. Then I think I picked Kareen. Then I think I picked Condor, and then I think I picked Emily. And then every single time they said, no, you actually can't pick that person. They don't have enough points to qualify.
Yeah.
And so I have to keep going down the list. And then eventually I ended up with Tyler, but then they said, no, he's not on the show. He's a PA now. Because then it was like something where they were relegated to PAs if you didn't have enough gems. And then they couldn't answer what the gems were. And so I do think that some people on the crew were paid in gems.
It must have been paid in gems because that was what I was so confused about. It felt like right behind camera there was a constantly clanging and a noise of gems being passed.
It's so cool though. You guys all had gems. Meanwhile, I'm walking around the Fort Lauderdale airport and I'm just like stuck as hell, having Whip It flashbacks.
Well,
like it's
And I'm sitting over here thinking, like, did I hook up with any one of you? And I was wondering if you guys would be willing to shout, I'm touching myself, because that's the only way I would know. Because I was definitely having vocal sex with somebody, multiple people. But I hadn't seen them, especially at night. You know, at nightfall it gets even harder. So
it was almost like a fox yelling at night, or when you hear coyotes. All of a sudden, you just hear, "Are you touching yourself?
Yeah.
Are we hooking up? Explain what your lips are like."
But sometimes you weren't hooking up with anyone. It was just like a frog call, where it's like a signal to mate, and then like someone would come over maybe, but sometimes you were just like yelling at other frogs who were signaling and not like receiving, if that makes sense.
It was tough. Once the frog started going, you started going too.
No way, dude. I didn't voice fuck a frog. No way, dude.
You have to save some of this for the Super Bowl halftime show. This is too good.
No way, dude. If you told me that I was voice, I would lose my mind, dude. There's no way, dude.
I think I had sex with somebody, but I don't think it counted because I found the
immunity condom. Because it was Vanessa Lachey, right?
It was Vanessa Lachey. Well, what happened, I found the immunity condom in the taco. I was eating a taco and I found an immunity condom. And then next to it, I found a key. And so then we went with the immunity condom and the key into a hotel room. And Vanessa Lachey said, "There's no cameras. Let's do it." And I said, "Do I win points or gems?" And she jingled a bunch of gems in front of me.
Grayson, because I was with you, because I was eating the immunity condom pasta.
Yeah. So
because I had just gotten off the Southwest flight.
So I didn't realize that the immunity condom wasn't an item. It was just what they were calling the food.
Yeah.
So there was immunity condom tacos. There was immunity condom pasta.
Right. Immunity condom is a very successful brand.
That was really confusing. Oh my God. I am having a flash memory. I hooked up with Joey from The Circle in a magic mirror. Like, I wasn't doing it, but I was watching myself in the magic mirror doing it, and I can't tell if that counts.
I think that counts for imagination points. So that also is a multiplier. So your imagination points at the end, if you stuck for love, you get more love points. But if you stuck for money, you get more money points. And also, I don't know how they created that in the magic mirror.
Well, it's so funny. Like the way we're talking about this just brought back the award ceremony at the end, the final episode. It felt like the end of a Mario Party game where it's just like, oh, hidden stars here. And
there. Mario Party.
Yeah. You guys played that game?
Yeah.
Mario Party? Yeah.
Mario Party.
Omarion Party. Yeah.
I love Omarion's Omarion Party. And anyways, it just felt like all these hidden things, and I was like, well, what were we doing here? Like, I got the Independent Eagle Award, and it
gave
like
you 15 cyclones, which I don't know what cyclones
Well, the Boy Scouts gave you that award. They flew in some Boy Scouts.
Yeah, the Boy Scouts of America came in.
And then Joni Mitchell came out.
Right, and she sang My Old Man. It was so weird.
That was the weirdest part because for some reason while she was singing it, depending on how we reacted, we were moving forward and away on the board. We were on like a chessboard moving kind of a game of life thing.
It felt like a haunted carnival. We don't need no papers from the city hall.
Wait, did you guys meet the mayor at the end? He was sitting at
the mayor of Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah, he was staring into the fire, and we couldn't see his face. But it was like if you had done well enough on the board, you got to meet the mayor, and he'd tell you how the universe was constructed.
Well, I think only you went there.
Out.
Yeah, I couldn't pay attention.
But
to what
I'm curious about that because I didn't meet the mayor. But I met a little boy that was dressed like the mayor in oversized clothes.
See, that's my son.
This has been Artist on Artist on Artist on Artist answering the question. Yeah, that's why they call it showbiz. Good night, Hollywood.
Artist on Artist on Artist on Artist is an improvised Hollywood Roundtable podcast created and performed and produced by Kylie Brakeman, Jeremy Colhane, Angelo Giratana, and Patrick McDonald. AOAOAOA is a Sugar 23 podcast. Michael Mayer and Michael Sugar, executive producers. Liam Billingham, producer. Production support by Angelo Restaino and Anthony Defranchesco. Music is by Gabriel Ponton. The opinions expressed on this podcast do not reflect the opinions of anyone who works on it, not even the performers, because this is an improvised podcast and we're stupid. Full video versions of AOAOAOA are available on YouTube, so please like and subscribe and leave us a 5-star review wherever you get your podcasts. Good night, Hollywood.